Hi, welcome back to Holistic Within. This week we are going to continue talking about emotions. The one thing that I want you to remember from last week is that an emotion is a motivation for mutation. So if everything in life changes through emotions, how can we control our emotions? How can we create our own changes the way we want? So for this we have to explore a little bit more what it means to be human. What is the human experience? What makes us different? Last week we talked about trees having emotions, and they would react to these emotions or these biochemical reactions to help them cope with this stress, with this problem. We are a little bit different because a tree or an animal has a set of beliefs, biological instructions, if you will, that makes them react a certain way all the time. They cope with stress a certain way. That's the way they are built. We're different because we have control over our thoughts, and we have control over our emotions, and we have control over our beliefs. Having thoughts and beliefs is what makes us human. To be able to judge, this is good, that is bad, that is being human. That is the ability to project my beliefs onto the experiences that I'm having. It is not to judge you, it is to judge my experience. What am I doing with the things that are happening to me? So if there is always this constant cycle, it can be a vicious cycle or it can be a virtuous cycle. It's all going to depend whether this cycle of life that I have in my mind, it's creating me or it's destroying me. Am I evolving or am I just going into chaos? How do I change this? If everything in my life is going to be controlled by my beliefs, how do I change them? Well, first, we have to understand that most of the beliefs that are creating chaos in our life are subconscious beliefs. They are buried. We don't even know we have them. So how is it that an emotion, being non-physical, can transform itself into physical, into an illness, into a mutation, into something, into a project that I'm doing, and my emotion, it's making me do things, it's creating change. How is it possible? Well, an emotion in the brain, it really is an electromagnetic impulse. That is the emotion itself, that is the thought with the emotion. And this thought with emotions are creating this electromagnetic impulse that gets sent to my body. And this electricity, it is very much like the electricity of your own house, where you have circuits that feed, lights or the fridge or outlets. Now, what happens when you plug a lot of appliances on the same grid, on the same outlets? The fuse will blow up. The breaker trips because you have an overload. In the same way, we have this electric system in the body. And when we go into a stress mode, that is called an overload. So what the body does is it turns off switches. It shuts off the energy to some parts of the body so that all the energy that we need to run or to fight is there, is available. To give us the chance to survival, it shuts off a bunch of electric appliances, if you will, within the body. And now I have all my energy available to run. Now I am pumped. That's called stress. It's a great thing. Can be a great thing if I know how to use it. So when the stress is over, Let's say I'm walking in the park and a big dog, actually a medium dog, jumps out and scares me. And because of a belief that I have, I'm scared of dogs. So I jump and I run. The electrical system of the body, it shuts off a few things in the body so that all my energy goes to my muscles. And I am able to run. And I get to my car. And then I drive home. But unlike the animal, when it finishes with the stress response, it goes into this normal state where it can recover itself. I don't do that. I get home and I tell my wife and my kids, oh, you know, I had this problem. I was walking in the park like every day and this dog jumps out at me. But because I have the control of my thoughts and what I experience, I can even add ingredients to my story to make it more powerful. And I'm explaining, you know, this dog, now it's not a medium dog. Now that I'm home, I tell them it was a big dog, you know, and I have this experience. And instead of going into a normal state where my body can recover, I keep myself pumped up. I keep myself stressed. In other words, I keep some circuits of the body, of the electrical system of the body, shut off. So my body starts to suffer because I keep this stress up. And then I become addicted to stress. We actually become addicted to stress because stress is one of the ways that we feel alive. When I am running, when I'm very close to dying, I feel alive because it's when the body reacts to the full potential of its strength so that it can save itself. And that feels like life is running through me. So now when we're addicted to that, we use the power of our thoughts mixed with the power of our emotions. The thought is like a car. It can have a lot of power, but you need the key. It can create change, but you need that key. That key is the emotion. So when you have a thought with no emotion, it's like you're sitting in a car all day long with no key. You might as well be sitting in the floor. There's no change going to happen. You're going to be stuck there. It doesn't matter. When you have a thought that it's not linked to any emotion, it's just a thought. We all have thoughts that we don't want to have. I assure you, we all have thoughts that we don't want to have. But as long as there's not an emotion linked to that thought, it's not a problem. It's like a car with no keys. It's just going to be there. And my recommendation, if you have a thought that you don't want to have, just let it flow. Don't resist that thought. What you resist persists. So you don't focus on that thought and it flows out of your life. The problem is when we have an emotion attached to a thought. That's when you have the keys to the car. That's when things happen. Now the energy of the emotion has a direction. Now it has the power to do things. So thoughts plus emotions are always creating this self-feeding loop with our beliefs. And this is amazing because our belief system has at its disposal an army of thoughts. Let's say, I'm going to use my own belief here. I believe that dairy milk is the worst. It's almost like poison. That's my belief. Now, if I drink milk, I'm not going to feel well because I have the belief that dairy milk, is bad. And I'm going to have all the reactions in my body according to my belief. But if you're sitting in front of me drinking milk, my mind is going to be trying to tell you, don't drink that, that is poison, you know, the protein, and I can talk for hours about how bad and horrible it is. But if you have a belief that milk is the greatest thing, because when you were a kid, all you keep hearing from your grandma or your mom was, milk is good, milk has calcium, milk has protein, you need milk. then you have this strong belief in your mind, and therefore you can drink a gallon of milk and nothing's going to happen to you. As a matter of fact, you might feel better. It might help you. It's not the milk, it's the belief when it's linked to an emotion. So the problem is that we have, most of the beliefs that we have, they are subconscious belief. We don't even know we have that belief. So that's when we have emotions that we cannot control them. I am reacting to an exterior factor in a way that I don't want to react. I'm having emotions that I don't want to have. That happens because I have a subconscious belief that is creating that emotion. And if it's subconscious, it means I'm not aware of that. It's coming, that emotion is coming from a level of my being that I'm not aware of. So, to have consciousness, to come to a higher state of consciousness, it really means to understand that that belief in your subconscious should not stay there. That belief in your subconscious is creating blockages for the potential of your life. Let's say an example, I'm been overweight my whole life. Probably it's because I have a subconscious belief that I need to be powerful. In the animal world, the bigger you are within your species, the bigger you are, the more power you have. And if I got that belief in my subconscious mind, I'm going to struggle with weight my whole life. And the only way for me to be thin would be to almost eat nothing. Because everything in my biology is working to fulfill the belief. Because the human experience starts with a belief. And my body wants to be true to the human experience. That's just one example. It could be that I am overweight because I want to protect myself. And maybe somewhere, for some reason, I've learned that to protect myself, I need space. I need a buffer zone. So now I have these layers of fat to protect me from something in the exterior world that I think, according to my subconscious belief, it's going to damage me. And now I weigh 400 pounds. Subconscious is what controls the things that you should be controlling. Things in your life that you want to change, but you cannot change, is because they're buried in your subconscious mind. In the first video, I quoted Dr. Carl Jung. He said that a physical illness is an attempt of the body to heal the mind, to bring to consciousness what's buried in the subconscious. So the thing is that this affects everything in your life. A subconscious belief will have the power over everything in your life. Your physical body, your health, your finances, your social life, your emotional life, everything in your life is going to be controlled by a subconscious belief. I'm sorry I have to cut this video short. YouTube only allows me to upload a certain amount of data. But I will continue the talk next week. This is a very interesting topic, and I think it can help us all to become the people that we want to become. Anyway, in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. If you feel that this information is worth sharing, please do so. I thank you again. Have a great day. Bye.